challenging but most important part of playing the fiddle is the bow. Now, the bow, if you think about it, I like to think about it as an artist and their brush. You can have the best colors in the world, but if we're not using correct technique, it doesn't do so much. So how to hold the bow, there's a lot of different ways to do this. If you're younger or just starting out or have any kind of hand problems, a lot of people find it more comfortable to have the thumb underneath the frog here where that pearl is. So I'm going to do it that way first. So notice that I've got just a little bit of my thumb sticking out. It's as if I've made a thumbprint right on the bottom of the frog. And then you're going to reach your hands over. I kind of aim the stick to hit about where this crease is, that last knuckle crease before the tip on the middle two fingers. So you have your thumb, you can get those in there. And you want there to be about the amount of space between each finger as if you're just letting your hand hang there. So we don't want it too close and we certainly don't want it stretched out too far. So find the thumb, find that crease, and then the middle finger, generally it can also be in this middle crease for some people. Again, personal preference. Mine's a little bit more in between the knuckles. You can see I've got a weird bump where mine hits. It's kind of like a rider's bump, but a bow bump, I suppose. And then the pinky is going to just sit right on top. If you have short enough nails, the place where the nail hits the fingertip is right where I hold my pinky. It kind of is stable there. Or just right on top is fine. We just want to make sure that it's not doing this. This is the most common bow hold I see, which, do you see how the hand is really nice and loose this way? And I can hold it up. And then if you tighten the pinky, all of a sudden, everything, including this muscle here, tightens up. So you might even start with your pinky in the air. So how to, so get that grip. And what I would recommend doing is shake out your hand and just find it, because it's going to take a while, but shorter every time you do it. And then see if I start with the tip pointing up, that's going to feel more balanced. Take a look at it, see if you can get it to look similar to that. And when you have the tip pointed up, I'm going to turn this way so you can see. I recommend having a really solid top part of your arm here, and then just adjust the elbow down and up, making sure that the tip stays pointing up there. So that'll get a nice flexible wrist here, and see if you can maintain that bow hold by doing that. And then a couple other things you can do are going back and forth, feeling that weight shift. So if the bow's this way, you'll really feel how that pinky supports it, trying to keep it curved there. And then if you go this way, you'll feel all that weight on your first finger. So you feel all these things as you're playing. So it's good to get used to them without that. And then I like doing bow circles. Again, just getting comfortable moving the bow around in your hand while maintaining that bow hold. The second way to hold your bow, which is how I hold it in most people, but it's not necessary, is to have your thumb on the stick. Now I put mine, you can kind of see perhaps where I put mine. It's right where the frog kind of meets the grip here. So you don't want to put the thumb actually in the frog. You'll find people that do that. I think it's really uncomfortable because the frog is also made out of ebony, so it's very hard compared to a nice softer wood / leather there. And so the most important thing with the thumb, though, wherever you do put it, is that it stays loose and flexible. So you'll hear people say bent thumb. And yes, that is true, but you don't want it locked in a bent position, because if you're towards the tip of the bow, like if the tip is on the fiddle over here, your thumb is going to be a little more like straight relaxed, and then as you go towards the tip, it's going to be a little bit more bent. So this is actually a good way to kind of practice that, is just on your shoulder, kind of feeling the bow is going to be supported by the violin. So you don't actually have to hold it up that much, and just seeing if you can get that hand to be relaxed and see how it changes going from down to up. So now we're ready for some strings here. And you want to try to get the bow about, for now, we're going to kind of keep it consistent, towards the edge of the fingerboard here. So it's not going to be directly in the middle right now, just a little bit lower. And you want to it's easiest to stay in the middle for now, I would suggest. So just get comfortable trying to make some sounds. Now, I don't expect it to sound anything like that your first time. So be open to making lots of weird sounds on the violin. It just is what needs to happen at first. So a mirror is also really helpful because this is a terrible angle to see if our bow is straight. And what I mean by straight bow is it parallel to the bridge and the edge of the fingerboard. So that's not straight, that's not straight. So it has the potential to be, lots of things. So you're trying to get it to be straight. And again, we practiced on that down, up in the air, getting the elbow to be flexible and not the shoulder. So make sure you're going really slow. You might even look at your elbow, see, is it extending? And then even with that, you have to make sure the wrist is also flexible, because I could be extending my elbow, but not the wrist. And you get that. So it's really important to have both, and a mirror is wildly helpful. So I would just work on using a little bit of bow and trying to get it straight and try to get a decent sound. So you want to apply a little bit of pressure with the first finger. If you have too much pressure, you'll know it'll get kind of a crunch sound. But if you don't have enough, you're going to start getting some whistly harmonic sounds. So go in between there. I like to always feel the bow into the string. That's kind of how I feel the sound, if that makes sense, is applying enough pressure so it stays there. And so I like to start off with what I call the open string song. Easiest song you'll ever learn. It's pretty boring too, but we start with E, we go A, then D and G, and on each string I'm going to do 4 bows. So down, up, and then I'll go on to the next string. And then after that, I'm going to change up the rhythms, and I'm going to do what I like to call, a lot of people call it Mississippi. I'm going to go for hot dog today. Mississippi hot dog, which is this rhythm. You hear it? Mississippi hot dog. And we'll do that twice on each string. And then when I go from G, we're going to go all the way back to E. And the third rhythm is going to be what I call Run Puppy. Call it whatever you want, but that's our shuffle rhythm, and that's all over so many kinds of fiddle music. Run, puppy, run. So we're going to do that whole song. Again, 4 kind of longer bows on each string, starting E, A, D, G, then go back to E, do the Mississippis on each string twice, go back to the E, do the Run Puppies 4 times on each string. So I'll do that now. 1, 2, ready, play. If you want to have a friend join you on that, you can play the same chord as what's happening as the string. So E, A, D, G happens to be a 6-2-5-1 chord progression in the key of G. Super fun. So you might have a guitar friend, E, or so it'd be an E chord, E, E, and so on. So that is the open string song.